not a distraction, resolved. You guys have a lot of team leaders, guys with experience. Does that help when situations like this pop up? Not even just this situation in general, but when there might be things that are swirling around in the media, to kind of keep things grounded.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I don't totally understand the whole spectrum of it, which makes me blissfully naive at some point. Listen, Stefon Diggs is an amazing player. Maybe a handful of guys I've been around in my 9 years who make an impact like Steph does on a team. I think Josh and him have a symbiotic relationship where they make both better. He's done so much for our team. That's why it's such big news in the media. He's such an important piece. I don't know if it's good to speculate whether it's in the building or out of the building without us knowing what's going on. So for us, we'll let the people do what they do. I love Stefon Diggs. I got to do. I got to come out here and do my job, and I want Steph and everyone to be the happiest version of themselves. He's one of the best teammates I've been around. I also think that they're working through it. I think they're doing the thing that they're supposed to do, which is have possibly uncomfortable conversations, have some candidness, which can be hard at times. But in the end, you appreciate it and you work out, whether any facet of life. So to answer your question, I don't totally know what's going on, so I can't answer it. But I'm sure it'll work itself out one way or another. And however it does, we'll all know together, and we'll answer it there.
Is that something, Mitch, you've been in other organizations, you've played sports your whole life. Is that something that's unique or better or different here, that people can get together and do that a little bit better to work through things than other places?
Yeah, no, for sure. I think whether it's from management down, when push comes to shove and it makes I can see it, it's uncomfortable to have the conversation, you don't shy away from it, whether it be with player to coach, coach to player. And that doesn't mean you need to be disrespectful. It just means that sometimes you're not going to like what you hear. But we do it in a way that's constructive. And any kind of conversation you have in this building, you want it to be constructive, not demeaning. So I think that's set at the top. And I'm sure that's what's going on. Like I said, what happens behind closed doors, that my key only gets me in so many doors in this building. And it does not get me in the doors that those open. So thank God. So I can just kind of do my thing and let that dissolve itself as it may.
Mitch, as much as going off topic of that topic, as much as you have stuff to do, what is the reaction in the locker room or just individually to all the stuff that Josh Allen is highlighted with, the Madden cover, going on dates in New York City, just how do you guys react to that stuff, and how do you see him as a quarterback now still focused on football?
I think from the jump, nothing has been more important in Josh's life, of course, excluding faith or family, than football. That being said, he's had a good few months, and it's been fun to, there's friendly banter, whether it be from his haircut to what you heard, as you said, about New York City, or the Madden cover, which even for a guy who doesn't play video games, it's not lost upon me. It's not a novelty. That is a pretty cool moment, I think, for him and his family. It's super unique. So for us, it's just hyping him up and really getting in his ear. He takes it well, and he's very humbled by it. But when push comes to shove out here, he's still the ultimate competitor that is looking to get something out of every day, and that's refreshing, because I think that's what you want from your quarterback, no matter if things are going well or not well.
What is that reminder to you of knowing his football is his focus? Is there is it during practice or what reassures you that football is his focus?
It's not totally fair. I guess it wasn't totally fair to make that to pronounce that on my part. I can only see that through the way he carries himself in meetings, on the practice field. He still has friendly banter, still his jubilant self, and very playful. But it is what it is.
Well, he and Sean, Mitch, would talk about, I think it's new level of focus and determination was the exact quote, and Josh would speak to that and has. Do you sense that when you're around him? Is there something, is he hitting another gear or whatever in that regard? Do you sense that?
It's hard to see now, right? I mean, we're still only in June. We all still have a lot to do to get to July and August. That being said, I think in any, not only personal career, but as a franchise, there's a window of opportunity. And our chances are fleeting, no matter how you want to look at it, whether how big the window is, small the window is. You never quite know when it can end, and you never know when that opportunity is going to arise. Again, we've had some great fortune these last few years, but when is that going to dry up? When is that going to run out? Whether it's be from injuries, whether it just be from turnover, age. And I mean, I feel it going into year 9. Like, how many more opportunities do I have personally, selfishly? So I think everyone's kind of do that intrinsically, having that talk to themselves, and we're just marching along and trying to take every advantage possible.
What is it like for you to be breaking in another left guard in Connor McGovern?
The guy's super coachable. I think that's all you want. You don't want a guy who makes the same mistake twice. He hasn't. We all make mistakes, right? And he's just kind of a sponge with information. Quirky dude, love him to death, and we're really glad to have him. Yeah.
What do you think they brought in David Edwards and now Brandon Shell? You've got Quessenberry, Mance is back. There's sort of, since you've been here, an MO that they like to have a real veteran presence outside of the top 5. What do you think of it?
Yeah, along with them being veterans, a lot of those guys have played substantial football, and so they have game experience to draw back on, because when they're maybe called on to come out there, they don't want that biggest experience to be that moment. They want opportunities to draw on, and it also is just they know how to be pros. And sometimes when your number isn't called every day, you still have to be a professional and have that to understand when the number is called to go from there and do it.
What stood out about Osiris so far throughout minicamp to you?
One more time, sorry.
What stood out about Osiris, your first impressions of him?
I think just how willing he is to learn the Cromer's technique. He's really working on trying to figure it out and get better, and he doesn't let bad reps bum him out. He flushes those, comes back, strong as hell. The dude is just naturally, freakishly gifted strong. But he's a good dude, and I think when you have a rookie who's drafted in those first few rounds, you're all a little anxious to see if he comes in thinking it doesn't stink. And he's come in, just been a great sponge of information. Just kind of just stood in the background, which at times is tough for rookies, but that's the best way to integrate, I think. And he's done a good job, and we'll see if that keeps elevating. I think the best thing you can do for a football player is trial by fire. And there is sometimes no greater fire for a rookie than training camp, your first professional training camp. So that'll be fun to see him do that and compete and kind of grow into whatever opportunity he has this year or whatever role he slides into.
Mitch, at this point, as you guys are about to break to head into the 6 weeks that you get off before training camp, you've been on this team for several years. Where do you think the roster is at right now with the depth that you guys have?
That's a good question. It's hard to speculate. I mean, we have all the pieces of the puzzle, like you said. I've been on teams that you say that and just doesn't end up going the way you do, or you think it might not be it, and you make these huge runs. We have the tools, we have the opportunity, we have the guys. For us, it's just kind of going out there and getting better and rolling around.